A full-service company built on making happiness a habit. CXT helps your company optimize its customer experience and customer success operations. CX Chronicles works with your business and customer-facing team to optimize the 4 CX pillars: team, tools, process, and feedback. They would be very happy to talk to you today about how they can support your customer experience, customer service, revenue operations, and customer support operations team growth. CX Chronicles. Make happiness a habit. Visit cxchronicles.com to schedule your path of scale to the future. All right, enough talking about football. Let's talk about my stuff.
So my wife asked me to stop singing Wonderwall all the time, and I said maybe.
What does a nosy pepper do?
What?
It gets jalapeno business. Give me a cute 6 with like some daddy issues, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you're a 9. Huh?
Oh,
yeah, baby.
Well, one episode you clipped that. Look at you.
3 episodes. It was 3 episodes. They were all under our new thing. So thank you very much. And and it only took me all day. So
I love it.
It was great. It took a lot. We'll talk a little bit about it a little bit more later. I did try a lot of things that I didn't know even existed in the technology world. I didn't get there. I'm also not 100% sure that song isn't fully copyrighted. And I did ask Do, and when they said they didn't know and they'd get back to us, I said Ellie will pay any of the fines. So just so you know, that's what we're going with here. But good little.
So good. Was the thing you didn't know, was it the edit button? Because I'm just wondering. It was really good. It's very lovely. Great job. You are now our IT guy. So I know we're kind of looking like we are just a podcast about analytics, but we're not. We're actually about dynasty football. So somewhere there should be a football on our background. But
no, I was going to do it, and I'll do it. I'll add a football to this, and I'll add a football to the thing.
Because before I just want to say we have 60 days today until the Super Bowl, which is wild, and we are entering week 15. And I don't think we're discussing this today, but you're really killing it in your league. You're top 12 now. You're basically you have $500,000 in the bank. Is that's kind of what
not $500,000. This one's 50,000 first place. It's the big eliminator in Underdog. I do have 80 some other bullets through Underdog, including 24 BBMs that got through. So I'll have a lot of fun sweats the next few weeks. But yeah, this big eliminator, we're down to 12. Ryan, maybe some time here during the podcast, I'll get to it. But I saw my my pod today and kind of started digging into it. As you would expect, there's like 3 out of the 4 teams have Barkley. 2, I think it was 2 Judys. And then there was 2 Kittles. So like, there's going to be a good, I saw one team that had like 5 of the same players as I had. So it's going to just be really, really close here. This is the first week where I looked at it. Maybe it's just because the money's getting so real now, but like it's the first time I've looked at it where I'm like, I don't love my chances this week. But
do you know if they assign those pods by random?
It's like random. It's random. Yeah. So like once they transfer, I may have misquoted the contest last week. I think I said that this week was going to be 2 6-person pods with the top 3 of each pod going. It actually ended up being 3 4-person pods with the top 2. So it really doesn't matter. It's still 50% of the people, but I don't know. It feels a little bit tighter when there's 4 rather than 6. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this one team that's in it, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Barkley, Jacobs, Bigsby, Charbonnet, Braylon Allen. This guy just got the luckiest run here this last couple of weeks. But then his wide receivers, St. Brown, Brian Thomas, Sutton, Judy, Brandon Cooks, Marvin Mims. This guy's got whatever. There's 12 teams left, so everybody's great, right? But yeah, Jesus, I thought I was getting
Someone's
robbed,
coming after your 50K.
I thought somebody was getting robbed. Yeah, somebody heard that and they're already here. No, I guaranteed 5 getting into this, and then if I get through this round, that will be 10K, and then the last 2 fight for 50 and 20 respectively. So we're getting there, man. I just want to get to that last week. Here's a question for both of you and how you would feel about this. They only have one, and Ryan probably knows the story. One story that I can compare it to is a few years ago, I was in first place in the DFS competition, and for 50 grand, if this one play, if one last play, and they scored a touchdown on the play, but if they don't score a touchdown, I win 50 grand, whatever. Still ended up winning 10 grand, right? Did well in this thing. But to me, I lost $40,000 that day. Didn't gain 10,000. Now, I feel like I'm going to feel very similar that day, that last week, that if I win 20 grand, I'm not going to feel like I won 20. I feel like I'm going to lose 30.
Yes. Knowing you very well, I would say you already spent your 50,000. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. You were or at least you decided what you're going to spend it on. So that's why I get it. Ryan, what's your take?
It's hard to not be, somewhat disappointed, but at the same time, you really have to just look at that as you're playing with house money at that point. Anything's a win. You're playing, for $100 entry, you've however many times X your investment. That's so worth it. So just enjoy the ride at this point. It's one of those things too. You can look at these teams, and this is another lesson for, any of these best ball mania, semifinals, quarterfinals, everything coming up. You could look at a team and it looks like they're maybe stacked on paper, but as you know, in the fantasy playoffs, anything can happen. You just need one bust week from Barkley, and those teams that have, there's so many Barkley teams that are in these playoffs now. If there's a bust week from that, it's going to be huge. It's going to wipe out those teams, and then it's going to really come down to, again, the last roster tweaks in week 16 and 17. So really interesting times coming up here, and everything else. Really the whole season is yet to be written in a certain way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Natasha Bedingfield, look at you, those quotes. I just also wanted to point out that Ryan, you're wearing your hair differently. And Louis, you look like you just had your family Christmas and then you went back to school with your new jacket. So I just want to. This is great.
This is one of my oldest jackets, to be honest. And it's not even a jacket; it's a sweatshirt. It's a swacket. I think is that what they're calling them?
Yeah.
Or is it a jetter? I don't know.
I wore Caucasian cashmere. I don't know why the color it is. So let's not talk about sports for a second, right, guys? No, we are talking about sports this week. We are doing everything and nothing. I've got 2 things that interest me. One is football related and one is baseball. And so let's do, what do we want to do first? Okay, so let's do a little football. Bill Belichick, there's a rumor that he is going to be the head coach for UNC Tar Heels.
It is official now.
Oh, it's official. Oh, okay. So the
hours.
giveaway 3 hours ago was that his girlfriend, who I'm very pro his girlfriend because go for it, girl. Live your life. But she followed Carolina cheerleading and UNC's cheerleading. So
Yeah, because she's on the squad. She's literally the chairmaster.
Wait, she is?
No, I'm joking.
No, but
I'm
she
joking. But she's
Oh.
the same cheer. But so Bill Belichick was really good friends with UNC's lacrosse coach, right? And that's kind of how he lured him in. And I love that because as the token lacrosse fan on this podcast, the Bandits are 1-0. I love that this kind of brought him in. And I kind of, now that he's no longer in our division, I don't have to hate him anymore. And I'll just think about the Bill Parcells years with him. But I kind of like that he's doing the Harborough thing and going college football. And it'll be interesting to watch. I'm more of a UNC basketball fan. Sorry. You're a Duke. There's a Duke fan on this podcast, right? Is that no? Okay, good. Yeah, you're an Ohio State guy. So there's no. And Louis, you're a East City College basketball fan.
I'm a School 81 elementary.
Also go to School 81?
Yeah, did you go to 81?
3rd and 4th grade.
Dude, 6th through 8th.
Let's kick Ryan out and talk about let's check the news.
Yeah, that was the last school I graduated from, I think.
Yeah, we'll talk. No, okay, look at that. Now we're gonna say we've known each other since like elementary school. But I kind of like this path. It'll be interesting to watch. I like when events like this happen because it does bring awareness to the sport, whether good or bad. But I think it'll be really interesting. Deion Sanders versus Bill Belichick. Like that's kind of awesome. It's not that they're in the same division, but or same class, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think one of the first things I thought of was actually his girlfriend, and is Bill going to be going to UNC college parties now? Is his girlfriend going to be okay with this? I mean, she now has way more competition. I mean, he's coaching players that they're the same age as his girlfriend. So I don't know, but I think it's kind of odd because I truly expected him to get back into coaching in the NFL at some team. I thought somebody was going to hire him potentially next year, and now that he's making this move, it's surprising to me. But I think I don't think he'll really have the pull that with the younger kids that somebody older might respect his name more. I don't think he really has the name recognition anymore. I think it's gone.
So here's a question: if you were, we know what he did, but if you were in his shoes and you got offered the Jets head coach job or UNC, what would you do?
I mean, I think I'd easily take the Jets job. You have, I still think I'd take, I mean, yes, you can run your own program and it's a different beast in college ranks. But you're also now in a new landscape of, NIL money and it's just different. And I think if you have a potential to coach in the NFL, that's one of 32 jobs. I think it's too prestigious. I think if he really thought he had a legitimate shot to coach in the NFL, he would not be taking this job right now. So it's telling to me.
It doesn't make so much sense to me whether unless it's like one of those, I wouldn't call it a midlife because he's at his end life, but what if it's just one of those end life reflection things where he's just like, I want to do something different. I tweeted out the Frank the Tank this morning saying that was going to be him at UNC, just at these dorm parties. I mean, I think, the girls obviously made him feeling younger and he's revived a little bit. I think he wants to do something that he didn't do. I think it's like Ryan mentioned, the NIL money that only makes it easier for him if they really want to build this program. I think his name, I do think his name still does mean something. I think his name means something to get people there. I do kind of agree with Ryan that I don't know if he would get through to these kids because no one can get through these kids. They're idiots. Every single one of you. If you're listening, you're anywhere from 18 to 30, you're dumb as shit. I'm sorry. Be smarter. Go read a book. But as I complained earlier about 6 hours on a open, but No, but I truly just believe that he can. I think he wants to do something that's against all odds. I think he's kind of arrogant, and now with the playoff picture the way it is, where you don't have to be one of the top 10 schools to like get in, and that like he might be able to get them back to some form of decency. So I cannot see it lasting long, but it's mostly because I'm worried about the longevity of his heart, not so much. Not
What
so
else?
much.
What's going to last longer, Bill Belichick coaching college football or Juan Soto's contract with the Mets?
100% the Mets contract. I mean that Juan Soto's still going to be a Met, and Jelena will be. My daughter will be on her 8th year visiting my grave. Okay, Juan Soto he's in for the long run.
15 full years. We're doing 15 full years with Juan. We're
15
thinking
full years, and that's it. I mean, baseball's guaranteed, so he will. And one thing about these guys that get these guaranteed contracts, he will be going out there until he is 44. I'm sure. DHing, hitting once every two weeks just to get his whatever $1 million that is.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to wait until the Bobby Bonilla contract goes up, and then they're going to replace it with a Juan Soto buyout contract that's going to last for the next 40 years. They're going to, so your prediction is going to be correct, but it's going to be Juan Soto is going to be a Met because he's going to be on a buyout payroll for 40 more years. I think it's going to be fine. He's obviously he's 27. I mean, it's not going to be a full 15 years, but he'll get 10, I think, out of those probably.
Listen, I'm a Mets fan, and I'm not trying to talk down on it. I love it, and we're talking about this on a football podcast right now. I'm super so for it, but I mean that's a lot of fucking money for he's not even a 5-tool player. Like he hits, that's it. He's now probably one of the best hitters of the generation, if not, he definitely top 5 of this generation hitter. But the dude can't field.
They are, and the Mets are also going to get that inflation check from the state. So that's $300 or $500. So you didn't factor that in.
That's true. That's true.
So we're going to keep it on baseball because I miss it already. Lou Gehrig has his 1937 World Series jersey. It went up for auction today. The auction is still ongoing. So later on, we'll take a guess. But in the 1937 World Series, the Yankees went 102 to 52 games. The Yankees beat my New York Giants. It was the 34th World Series. And a couple other things went up for auction today. There's an autographed Lou Gehrig contract, a couple of things. So it's always interesting. But one is it's estimated that this jersey will go for $4 million. Do you guys want to go over or under?
Something that I just saw recently went for well over that. I was it was actually the ruby slippers in how much did those go for?
So I have those stats, but give me the.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over on the. I mean, come on, somebody. Yeah, it's Lou Gehrig. I mean, come on, somebody is more than $4 million to throw around.
I'm going to say as of this morning, it looks like, as of 9 a.m. this morning, the high bidder was 1.4 million already. I think that's going to soar over 4 million, especially as you get closer to it ending on Saturday night. Like you got to consider Saturday, it's going to move easily over 1.5 million, probably as the bids start closing. So I'm over on that.
Okay, like 4.2. You guys are so boring. You won't give me a number, but okay. So we'll say over. So then going into some interesting things that have been up for auction. The 8 most expensive movie props ever, so including Dorothy's slippers. Darth Vader's helmet and mask from The Empire Strikes Back, that went for just around $900,000. I feel like some nerds would totally pay more. R2-D2 unit from Star Wars, $2.78 million. Sam's piano from Casablanca went for $3.4 million. Audrey Hepburn's ascot dress and My Fair Lady, that big white hat and tight white dress, that was $3.7 million. The Maltese Falcon from the Maltese Falcon went for $4.085 million. Marilyn Monroe's white dress from the 7-year inch, not the one that Kim Kardashian wore, went for $4.6 million. This is something that I think is really cool. I'm not a car person, but I am a James Bond person. The Aston Martin from Goldfinger. Anyone want to guess how much that went for? It's that really cool one.
All right, I'll say $8 million.
6.5.
6.4. Louis also a car guy. And then the famous ruby slippers. These keep going for auction every now and then. These actually went this week and they sold for $32.5 million. The gays have money. Yes.
I got a question. What did the pie from American Pie go for? Yeah, when he had sex with. Get it? No.
Yeah. How much?
I was literally 60 seconds of you saying that. Not did I listen. I didn't listen to one number, and I was trying to think of my reference, and I was like, "Oh, I nailed it with the American Pie one." And then both of you guys looked at me like I was fucking stupid.
We're like, dad jokes was last week, loser. Because I'm sure we can Google that, and someone actually probably put my It is. I love these like weird stats. I think they're so interesting. I love memorabilia, and it's in the city of Buffalo, which is where I am right now. In our city hall, there's a marriage license, a second marriage from Ty Cobb, and he married a Buffalo girl, and you see his signature, which I think is really cool. So if anyone is in City Hall, go and you can see that, which is just level old baseball stuff. But yeah, I guess we talked about sports this week.
Warren Spahn, Buffalo boy, Buffalo
There
born and raised, one of the best pitchers of all time. I just said that pretty confidently. Don't anybody Google that. I'm pretty sure.
Someone's like, Andy Pettit was the greatest, and you're like, what?
No. I think Warren Spahn was born in Buffalo. I'm 99.1% sure.
Warren Sapp is probably more likely.
That's really
okay. All right, friends, we are in week 15. It's so wild that we are 60 days away from the Super Bowl. Who are you sitting and starting in fantasy this week? Louis, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of questions from listeners. So I will ask Ryan, and I'll try to respond off it, but I'll because we got tweeted a bunch of them. So this one is half PPR. You go Metcalf, Sutton, Jacoby Myers. Need two of those, and then Pacheco or Brian Robinson.
Metcalf, Sutton, and
Myers. Jacoby Myers. Pick 2 of 3.
Okay. Yeah, those are all. I mean, those 3 are. I mean, in a row, I would say for rankings, consensus wise.
That's probably why he's asking, Brian.
It's
let's high five. Nice one, Louis. Nice one.
It's supposed to be tough.
Yeah, wow, this is a tough start. That is what we asked for. We did ask for this, yes. All right, so Jacoby's going up against Atlanta. The only issue that I have with Jacoby, and that I think is the reason why I'd be leaning towards sitting him, is that you have Desmond Ridder at quarterback, and I know that he's the number 1 target in this offense, but there's also a non-zero chance that it really just doesn't function. I mean, he could get a lot of gimmicky targets. Do we know if this is a half PPR or a full PPR league?
Half PPR, he did say.
Half PPR, he did say. Okay, so in that case, I'm sitting Myers and I'm starting Sutton and Metcalf. And the other one was Brian Robinson and who?
Brian Robinson Jr. or Isaiah Pacheco.
Okay, that's easy one to me. I'm starting Brian Robinson there. If he's healthy, I mean, he's the one. I think he's got distant guys in the backfield. You know, it's not like a situation where you're going to be splitting carries. So yeah, it's Brian Robinson for me on that.
I'm Brian Robinson easily on that too. I'll back you up on that. I think I'm going back and forth on this, but I honestly think with that, the Falcons are the worst team against wide receivers, so I think I'm gonna want to go Jacoby Myers there. The
That's been
Packers,
a revenge game too. Wow.
yeah, Ritter revenge game. I really like Myers. I think I would be Myers and Sutton and sit DK. And I didn't, I think that's one thing here about playoffs, right? Like playoffs are about making tough decisions, and you would think about saying that statement in week 1 that you would be benching DK Metcalf for Cortland Sutton and Jacoby Myers. But I think that's what I would be doing.
Well, at least we have a clear one. That's Sutton, right? Easy start, Sutton there. And
Yes.
the coin flip between Myers and Metcalf, I'd go Metcalf. You'd go Myers.
All right. A couple more here. Sorry, Allie, I should have given you these. If I only thought. Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy? Hurts versus Pittsburgh, Purdy versus Rams. Go ahead.
Man, I'd be a fraud if I didn't answer this a certain way based on what I have to share later with the show. But yeah, it's going to be Brock Purdy for me here. I think that, well, I'll just get to it now. I think the Philly thing is been kind of fraudulent. I really don't believe in Hurts. I haven't believed in Hurts for a while. I think Pittsburgh is actually like a pretty good defense. At times, right? They haven't, Jameis Winston tore him up, but they can certainly create problems for an offensive line. And I'm just not buying the Philly thing. So I think he's going to have a down week. I would take Purdy, especially against a defense that just got lit up by the Bills. And, in I guess a must-win game for San Francisco. They might already be out of it, but I'm taking Purdy there.
I absolutely love that, and I think I would be going Purdy as well. And I know that's a little bit crazy to think and to sit Hurts in this situation, but again, if you're here probably because you're deep and you have a good team, and sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Pittsburgh's the best team against quarterbacks. I can see that game being low scoring on a running game. Of course, Hurts is always going to be possibly giving you that tush push, but if he doesn't get that touchdown or two, it could be a really rough day for him. I'm going Purdy for sure.
And one other thing, just quickly, the last 3 weeks, his passing totals, his yardage, 108 yards, 118 yards, and 179 yards. That's pathetic. Okay. And I know he gets it done on the ground, and I know that helps a lot. But if you don't have that rushing floor, if you don't get 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns, I mean, you're betting on a lot of, you're due for regression is what I'm saying. I think you're going to get a low teens score of a game from Jalen Hurts this week.
For sure. Hold on, Ellie. I know you got one in the chat. I got one more right here. This the same guy asked question. Actually, our boy Duneffy. Bucky Irving or Rashad White? That's a good question. It's the same team. I think he says that he's got that Hurts and Purdy decision. If that means anything to you, I know we're going to be a little bit, to me, that means we're being a little aggressive with the Purdy decision. I don't know if that changes your process to be a little bit more conservative there. I'll just answer it really quick. I would be more conservative if I did decide to go Purdy. I think I'm going to take the guaranteed points from Rashad White and Bucky. Although it looks like he is trending towards playing, can the same thing happen? As last week where his back, with back spasms, you just never know. I don't want to play that, and I think Rashad White, whether Bucky plays or not, is good for 10. So if I'm gonna make the little aggressive play with Purdy over Hurts, I probably lean Rashad White. If I do ending up on Hurts, I think Irving and Rashad is really like a 50-50 on how much upside. I think if you feel like an underdog, you're starting Bucky Irving. How about that? I'll put it out that way.
Folks, that's grade A fantasy advice right there. I gotta co-sign that. That's very good advice. I think that's the way you got to play this. I'm leaning towards, in most situations, I'm shying away from Bucky Irving because what happened last week definitely kind of scares you away. I know that it's potentially recency bias, but it is a back injury. If it lingers, if it comes up again, they have two other quality and capable running backs in that backfield. So go ahead and just defer to the other option that is at least healthy and is going to get a high floor. So great call, Lou.
All right. I'm going to go with the one I just saw, Louis, that question we just got.
Yeah, that's that one.
Let's go Eagles defense versus Pittsburgh or Packers defense at Seattle. Yeah, Ryan, you take that one.
So I do think that Eagles-Pittsburgh game has a potential to be kind of a lower scoring game. Philly's defense, especially their secondary, is really, really good. And if they can take away, what Russ does really well, which is that deep ball to Calvin Austin and especially not having Pickens, I mean, that's got to be a game that's got to be max 20 points for, if Pittsburgh gets to 20 points in that game, I think they're doing well. So although I'm not high on Hurts this week, I would be higher on the Eagles defense. I love the Packers defense next week. I also am not crazy about how Seattle has been playing recently. They've definitely struggled, but they're also pretty talented and stacked. And I mean, Charbonnet is looking unreal. JSN's been the wide receiver 5 in points per game. I definitely taking the Eagles defense there. I think that's pretty easy call for me.
Yeah, I think I'm taking that pretty easily too. There's a chance of rain in Philly, 42.5 compared to 45.5 as far as the over-unders between the two games. Listen, at some point, maybe somewhere in his 13-year illustrious career, I will have to start believing in Russell Wilson. I didn't when he was with the Seahawks winning the Super Bowls. I'm not this year with 10-3 at the Steelers. But I do think that that's a pretty good matchup for them. And to your point, I think Pittsburgh's defense stands up to a point where it does keep it to be a low scoring kind of close game. And I'll take the Eagles defense there over Packers, because you never know when Geno is going to go off either. Geno can always have that one game. Packers defense is playing really good. Seattle's a tough place to play. I'm going to go Eagles in Pittsburgh.
Here's a bonus for you all too. I would also take the Steelers money line just straight up to beat the Eagles this week. I know I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I don't think the Eagles are going to get there. So it could be like 20-16, something like that. So I would bet Pittsburgh this week, because as annoying as they are and as fraudulent as they think they are, there's teams like this every year that kind of, Tennessee from a couple of years ago, it's just like that. I can see Pittsburgh making one of those types of runs.
For sure. Allie, do you have that other one in the
I hope this sounds makes sense when I say it. Point PPR leagues needs to start one of these running backs. McCormick versus Atlanta, which they're playing on Monday. Swift at Minnesota, also on Monday. Patrick Taylor versus the Rams on Thursday, assuming Guerrero doesn't play. Javonte versus Indy on Sunday.
Okay, so I'm sorry. That's
I was like, I don't want to read that.
You're good there. You're good there. Basically, because I was confused with it too. It's just he would be starting Patrick Taylor if Guerrero is out. Can I start with that right here as I just do that?
McCormick or Swift are your first two up, right?
Yeah, McCormick, Swift, Taylor, or Javonte. I'm going to I'm gonna go I'll explain why here. Swift is tough. Minnesota's running defense is really tough. But Swift might be the only guy there with Roshan out. I still don't love the matchup, so I can't say him. Although I think because he's getting volume, he's going to have one of those like 18 for 64 days, and if he gets in the end zone, it's a decent day, right? But I just think Minnesota's defense is going to eat him up, so I would not go Patrick Taylor even if Guerrero doesn't play. I think that could be a Patrick Taylor, that could be a Akabanda, that could be even who's there?
Akabanda. I love that.
Did I say it right?
No.
Did I say it really poorly?
Obanakanda.
Dude, I was so confident I said that right.
Akabanda is great. I love it.
Akabanda. All right. So yeah, I don't shut up. That's right. I probably should get canceled for that. So Swift and then Patrick Taylor and then but no, who's the other guy? The former Keyshawn Vaughn. From Tampa Bay is there too. Those three guys are there. I can't tell you who would leave that backfield. I wouldn't want to bet on it. Javonte and that whole Denver backfield has been a mess, and who to decide on, I wouldn't want to know. So
Louis hates all of your options.
So no, I'm going Sincere McCormick, baby. My dog of the week last week. The guy that was telling everybody, the guy had 20 lineups last week. He had a nice little 13, 14 points. He was perfect for what you needed him for. He was, I think, RB 13 on the week, maybe even better. Yeah, dude. Ellie, I just texted you one more that we got from actually a Mura. That one, that one's from Amira if you have it. Yeah, I'm Sincere McCormick.
Yeah, I here's how I have it ranked. I have it McCormick, Taylor, Swift, Javonte. So McCormick, he is getting the start. Madison is going to be likely active, but he's relegated to a backup role. And why not? Why not see what you have from an undrafted guy who has impressed, by all accounts, he's impressed the Raiders. And that's a coaching staff that might be on their way out. It's a guy who might be looking for a contract next year, right? In McCormick. So he's going to be running hard against a defense that gives up a lot. Yeah, he's the start there. I'm going to go against you a little bit. I do think that if Guerrero doesn't play, and I don't think Guerrero will play, I think Patrick Taylor is a second option. The only reason I'm not as excited about him is the matchup. I mean, the Rams are pretty decent, I think, against the run. And they just have a good, I think, exterior offensive line with Verse. And, I would not be trying to force him into lineups, but I think he's the second best option here. Swift, again, tougher matchup against Minnesota. And Javonte, forget about it. I mean, I think if you're starting any of the running backs in that backfield right now, it's Jaleel McLaughlin, but might as well spin the Price is Right, wheel and find where you're going to land next week, because who knows who it's going to be next week.
All right. Here's the next question. This one's actually coming from Ryan, your brother, which I hope his name is Brian.
It is not. No, it's not Ryan and Brian.
Okay, Ryan and Brian. Bless. But Ryan's brother, I'm still going to call you Brian because I think that's fun. All right. So who are you starting? Who are you sitting? Okay. Jennings, Metcalf, Guerrero, or McConkey? Pick two.
Okay, so I'm going to easily just kind of wipe away Guerrero there because I don't expect him to play. I think he's easily the one to take off the board. I think that the first pick there is Jennings. This seems to be kind of like a smash spot for Jennings. And even though a couple of weeks ago I said he was going to dud against the Bills, and I was right. He was the cat. He was, that was the snow game, and he really did nothing. He's since then, and really every other week, he's been, really strong. So I'm starting him. McConkey, I don't know if he's going to be active. Louis, have you heard any of the updates and the injuries this week?
I have not on McConkey. The last I know is that he limited. No, I don't know. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. I just he scares me a little bit in that offense, especially now with Herbert. So my lean is Jennings Metcalf, and it's a pretty strong lean. The only one I would potentially swap out would be McConkey for Metcalf if he's healthy, but that would also require Herbert to be healthy. And again, it's kind of a toss up at this point. So yeah, I'm leaning those two.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy on that one. I think again, if Garendo goes, it's him. Like, if he starts, that's 100% a thing. And then
and for the record, what was texted to me was not Garendo, and I was like, what? It was like Guerrero.
Oh yeah, it's like Garendo.
Yeah, somebody's former trainer.
Yeah, I was like, huh. Okay, so let's do this. Also from Brian, joke for 3. I love it. Stroud or Levis?
Okay, so Stroud is going up against, let's see. Stroud is playing Miami and Levis is playing Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati's secondary is atrocious. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's just one of those where, yes, you can decide to put Will Levis in your lineup over CJ Stroud, but you better be ready to accept the consequences of that decision if it goes badly, and it could go badly. Okay, Will Levis is like playing with fire, right? I mean, you're really, really risking it. And I know Stroud has struggled this year, but if it were me in that decision, I just couldn't get around to starting someone that I just had so much less confidence in as a football player. So if Stroud gets me beat, I'll take it. You put the investment in Stroud. If Levis gets you beat and Stroud goes off, you're going to feel like an idiot. So I feel like you got to start Stroud. That's what I would do.
All right. And then, ooh.
Oh, sorry. Just before moving on, we had a comment from Neffy. Just what's up with DK lately?
I could answer that. He's taking a little out,
I will say, I just think he is. I think there's been a little bit of minor injuries all year. I think it's a Geno problem more than it is a Metcalf problem, and also JSN has emerged, right? So I think JSN is emerging to be their top guy there. So I think that all of those type of things, the trade rumor started even in the offseason with Metcalf. There could be a little bit of unhappiness there. I don't think, he's still in his prime. So the thing that sucks is about sitting him. And I know we just told you to a few minutes ago in another scenario, is that the thing about sitting him is he's that guy that can go for 2 or 3 touchdowns and just out of nowhere and spike. But he has not shown that ability this year. And I just don't know if that's there, especially against a team like the Packers and with JSN getting the volume he is.
Well, correction, Louis told you to sit Metcalf. I did not tell you to sit Metcalf. I think you should start Metcalf in those situations. So just letting you know. But otherwise, Louis nailed it. All of those factors are why he's had a downturn, and I do expect some regression to the mean. So please do.
All right, and that was our new segment, Ryan Answers Brian. Okay, moving on to this week's Cats and Dogs.
Trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament before practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Meow, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
We need more dogs, everyone. We need more dogs like the cutest little grandpa out there, Archie Manning, sticking up for his grandson, Arch Manning, this week against the noodles that are this people that overreact, the cats, on the internet. Do you guys hear the story about Archie Manning protecting little Arch Manning? So Arch is going to a school in Texas. I think he's a Longhorn right now. And someone at like a bar asked him, probably like some trashy wing place, was like, "Oh, hey, like, what do you think your grandson Arch should do?" And he's like, "Well, I want him to like, finish 3 years of college football, and then the patron said maybe the Cowboys." And he was like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be fine with me." So then this like noodle put it on TikTok, and they're like, Arch Manning wants to go to the Cowboys," and that's not true. It was a grandpa just be like, "Yeah, I want my grandson to be successful," and like people need to calm down, as the kids say, touch grass and just relax. Let college football is so fun to watch, right? We all love it. Let this kid be a kid, play football. And no, Archie Manning does not want his grandson to play for the Cowboys. But if he did, I'll be happy. Calm down. TikTok has like a month and a half left, so it's fine. But calm down, weirdos. And Archie Manning, keep being a cute little grandfather that's just trying to enjoy his beer while eating wings. Amen. Okay.
All right.
I don't know. I didn't know if is it your cat, your dog?
Well, Archie Manning is my dog, because I think it's so that he's just trying to like support his grandson. He just wants him to play college football. He wants him to enjoy it. Obviously, what an amazing family. They have a great legacy in football, obviously. And, he just wants a third generation to play football. And like, what that's like any of us, we just want our family to be successful. And I'm sure, as you guys can know, that you just want your kids to be more successful than you are. And he's like, yeah, I want them to just play football, be good in college, get an NFL contract. And like, people take things out of context. And he's like, just calm down. Let Archie Manning support his family. Okay? Stop taking 75-year-olds stuff out of context. All right. Flipping it weird, you freaks. Okay. So Archie is my little dog. All right. Louis, what do you want?
I'll go with my dog real quick. I'm gonna go Tommy Cutlets. He's given us greasy Italians, and a way to still be athletic, a dream. I can still have a dream. If Tommy DeVito is out there playing football for the New York Giants, I still might have an NHL career. I am not convinced I don't. Tommy Cutlets against a horrible defense. That defense, the Ravens defense, like literally lets quarterbacks dominate against them. I'm super stoked about that. So he's going to be my dog of the week. My cat of the week, Jared Goff. I think it'd be really easy to see what Stafford did to the Bills last week and how that game went. And people are going to kind of be, I think, going crazy about this game being another huge high scoring game with a quarterback battle, yada, yada. I think the Detroit Lions game plan is going to be hand off to Jahmyr Gibbs, hand off to David Montgomery, hand off to Jahmyr Gibbs again. And if they don't do that, they're crazy, because they can do whatever they want if they continue to do that. And I think that they will. I also think that the Bills, as much as you might want to sound like I am trying to stick up for my hometown team. I think there was some really good coverage on a couple of those plays. Beautiful catches that were made. Stafford played amazing. Like, I don't think that that's their pass defense, and I think they're going to go back to normal. And I think Goff is not that he's below average, even though he's got the whole MVP talk earlier in the year. I just think that he is that their strength is running, and the Bills' strength or weakness is the running, stopping the run. So I think that should be their main focus. So Jared Goff is my cat of the week.
Even though he has the hottest wife in the NFL. When he was playing, I was like, his wife is beautiful. All right. Those are very interesting points.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a tough week for Italian Americans, so we'll see if the Tommy Cutlets pick pays off. We'll see if you think he's going to do the cutlets. He scored a touchdown. We're going to see that.
100%. 100%.
Every time now, I'm thinking back. I just keep thinking of Baker doing it now. It's so much better when he's doing it just like on 2x speed. All right. So my cat of the week, I already talked about it. Jalen Hurts. I just expect him to bust this week, so I'll spare the discussion on that again. And my dog of the week is Isaiah Davis. So I think one of the biggest determining factors this weekend in fantasy playoffs will be getting the correct running back in the Jets backfield. The Jags, I normally wouldn't want to start either of the running backs, but the Jags are so bad against the run. They're 31st against the run. And I think Isaiah Davis looks better than Braylon Allen right now. So if I have two of them, or if I have one of the other, I'd prefer to start Isaiah Davis for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well done, team. And I brought one of my dogs on for moral support, and because his face is hilarious. I don't know why he's just all right. Okay, dilemma draft. Louis, I know you had this great idea of the dilemma draft, which I'm sure I'm not going to do great on. But can you please explain why we chose that this week?
Well, we had a lot of dilemmas, right? We had a lot of sit-up questions. The first week of playoffs is always trying to decide between who you're starting, one guy or another guy, and it's always really hard choices. It's never easy this time of week or the year. And so I started thinking about, like, how many times do we just do that in daily life where, it's not, we've done a debate draft. And so, like, I don't want to go that way. I don't want to be like, oh, what's better, Coke or Pepsi? Like, that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is like really tough decisions that you have to go through on a daily basis. I think this could be fun, but maybe not. All right. Draft order is I got the number 1 pick.
Oh.
Brian number 2, Ellie number 3. Okay. So with the first pick of the dilemma draft, and I might steal this from Ellie. It might be cheesy, but I think it's the 1-1. It's what to wear. I am worse than any woman I know. I will always change. You guys have seen there's some podcasts that I have changed my glasses 3 times. I will, and I'm at the weight now where I don't fit in anything, and I get mad at myself, but then take it at, like, man, when I was married, it'd be like, we're gonna be late, and then she'd be like, yeah, because you're on your third, you're taking out your misguided, and the fucking dryer shrunk my stuff again, and so nothing fits me. You feel fat. You got to find that right fits, and it gets harder as you get older and chubbier, and so. I struggle with the dilemmas of what to wear on a daily basis. I think that's a good 1-1.
You are our fashion queen on this podcast, so I get it. Yeah. And you're up next.
All right. Well, you were so close to almost taking what I'm going to pick as the 1-1. It's a phrase, or it's not a phrase at all. Actually, it's a question that when you're asked this question, just, it just gives me so much apprehension, and just like a shiver goes down my spine. The question is, what do you want to eat? I mean, nobody wants to decide where to go to eat, what to eat. Good. I hate deciding that. I mean, trust me, I love food. I love cooking food. I like going out to eat. It's just there comes a time every week, it feels like, where you're so tired of figuring out what you're going to feed yourself. And so that's, for me, the dilemma that comes up on a daily basis, and it can get to be a lot. So
I've had 4 relationships end during that conversation. It's serious. It's a tough one. No, that's a good one.
You just get Mexican food. It's like
that is the default. You're right.
Right. Okay, so these two might be too similar, so I will go to both judges to let me know if it's too close. But my first dilemma is, do you tell your friend that that their significant other is cheating on them?
That's good. That's a good one. And I meant it. I thought of it earlier and I wanted it on my list, and I never put it on. But yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. Good one. Okay, and then this one's similar but very different. And hear me out. I'm going to pull up Murrah here. I'm going to pull a Ryan, Brian, and Lylan. I don't know what like another Ryan name is. But that was the Ryan. Do you tell someone that no one in your group likes their boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other? Because we've all been there, right? Where you're like, do we tell them or do we wait till they break up? And then you say like, oh my gosh, like we hated him or her, or that. Like you wait. Do you like, because I have someone technically in my family now that no one really cares for, but we all just like, and then
I hope all your family members are listening to this right now, being like, could it be me? Also,
do you think any of my family members know like what I even do for a living? No.
I also thought when you said that you're going to be too similar, I thought you were going to be like, and do you think you should tell the person you're with that you're cheating on them?
No.
That's where I thought you were going with that. Right,
if my dad is listening to the podcast, because he out of everyone would be listening, and another special person, they know exactly who I'm talking about. There's someone in my family that everyone's like, oh, and then like, and then a family member married them, and so now it's forever, and or not, but no one can just sit in the room.
You all have a date in the divorce pool. So
no, it's just forever is a long time to be unhappy, right? Yeah. So again, as I said this before, sometimes divorce is really healthy for people. Like it's really good to be like, oh, and I'm just saying that to someone.
Of course, you would go with just two moral dilemmas right off the bat, but they're good. I don't think they're too close enough. So yeah, that's good.
All right. So with my second pick, I'm going to go a little bit abstract here. I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to go with something that has a 0% chance of getting taken by Louie here at the turn, or even Ellie with her next pick. But I'm going to take it anyways because I was kind of running out of dilemmas. So this is a hypothetical dilemma, but you just have to imagine, all right, if your life depended on it, would you rather have to score a bucket on Shaq, current age Shaq, like 50-year-old Shaq right now, or try and tackle Frank Gore at his current age he's 40. So 10-year difference. What do you think you have a better chance of doing you have one chance. You either have to, it's one-on-one versus Shaq. You get one shot or layup attempt, dunk attempt if you feel like it.
Shaq's only 50, huh?
I could trip Frank Gore. I'm going Frank Gore. I could just trip him.
No way, dude. You're crazy. There is 0 chance that Frank Gore falls down. The guy is like one of those power band, remember those power band things that Puka was tweeting about after the game, right?
No.
Yeah. So there's always a Puka connection, but he's like that dude on steroids. He never falls down. That guy's never going to, you think he could trip him? Like, what is he? I mean,
I'll tell you one thing I'm not doing. I'm not Shaq. I'm not dunking on Shaq in his coffin, dude.
No, but your only chance though in either scenario, in my opinion, I've thought about this for a while. So the only chance I think is you're not going to make a layup. You have to be as far away from Shaq as possible so he can't block it. You just have to make a prayer of a shot. That's it. That's your only hope. You're not tripping Frank Gore. You're not tackling Frank Gore. So
Ryan, didn't Aaron Carter dunk on Shaq?
Who?
What? Clip it right now, dude.
I think that was the most frustrated Ryan's ever been with you.
We need Brian Durant come on right now. Aaron Carter, who famously had a song, I like could dunk on Shaq. He did die a couple of years ago. So RIP Aaron Carter, because his dunk was so successful. But I still think if you can crocodile run Frank Gore, you could be like, your son, Frank Gore, fire. And he'd be like, what? Yeah. And then you could be like, aha, and then tackle him.
No way. There's just no way. I'm sorry. I think you guys are miscalculating.
There is, because as a lady, I could be like, ow, my knee. And he'd be like, let me help you. I'm like such a nice person. Shaq would legit just go in my face.
No, but you could run away. You could you know what I mean? He's not I guess he's still fast. He's still agile, but your best chance is to dribble around until you can get as far away from it as possible and just like throw a hook shot up, like, and just hope it goes in, you know,
Right.
but you're not tackling Frank Gore.
There's only one way to settle this. Me, you, Allie, Frank Gore, and Shaq. At the park.
Random
Yeah.
collection of people. Yeah.
Louis and I are going to use sweatsuits to Delaware Park training to beat Frank Gore because we're like, we got to win this bet. That's a great though. I really, I'm glad that keeps you up at night. That's good. All right, Louis.
All right. This is, I know both of us that this is the second one in a row that's almost a question, but you could just say yes or no. Have either of you like ever had to choose between two lovers before, like at the same time? Like I love it. No, you don't want to. All right. So I didn't realize this about me, but I feel like it's all I've ever had to do. I feel like every relationship I've gotten into, there was like two people at the end that both liked me and I had to choose one and for different things. And I thought about today, it was like almost every serious relationship I went. So I feel like I'm just treating the dating game like a guillotine league. Like it starts when I'm single, like I just got all the girls and then I like get down to two that I, hang out with both and see what, and then I pick one and, spoiler alert, haven't picked the right one yet. I don't know if any of the losers would have been the right ones either, but I think that's a really tough dilemma is when you love or lust. I would say, I don't know if I've ever loved two people, but when you lust two people to decide which one you would like to go after exclusively, that's my answer. And then my next answer is going to be totally different and not gain me any votes because I don't even know if I do believe in this. I got my license suspended when I was 20, and so I've driven like a grandma ever since. I always have a really big dilemma on whether or not to go through the yellow light. Like I always stop. I'm pretty conservative with that decision because I've driven like a grandma since I've gotten my so I think that's something that we deal with every day. That's a dilemma that some people should take more seriously or you'll get your license suspended.
I like that.
Okay.
Right.
So my next pick is something that, as I think when you get older, you start leaning towards one side of this dilemma more often, but it's to whether to go out or to stay in.
Yeah.
And like to make a plan, right? To go out, right? It's much more of like a chore or like a hassle to kind of get yourself up and go in and like out and everything. And, a lot of times it's just kind of easier to just be like, on a Friday or Saturday, I'll just stay home and chill and relax and not do anything. So that's a dilemma. It's an easy dilemma. It's not really like a big consequence dilemma, but something you face probably pretty often.
Yeah, I like that. I had something similar, so I won't touch it. So I like that though. It's very good. So mine is I know we have about 68% of our listeners are women. So when you're gonna either just get a trim or chop all of your hair off, like that's a big dilemma. Like sometimes it's bangs or no bangs. It's like a big thing, and usually we freak out about it and we do like, this looks good, right? And then we see all these pictures of like really beautiful AI women that we're like, oh my gosh, they look great. And they're not real. And then we take it to our person to get the haircut. And then we're like, either nothing has changed and we made a big deal about it. And we like told people and we showed pictures and they're like, yeah, do it. And then you don't do it. And they're like, why are you even coming to me with this problem? And so the big haircut is the big dilemma.
I think for guys, that's like the decision of whether or not to shave the facial hair or the beard.
Yes.
Like, and I honestly feel like you have, as a guy, maybe like a 3% chance of liking that decision. If you decide to shave your beard, you're probably going to hate it. Most people who have had beards, they
if you got a cool stash like this, bro.
High five. There we go. Yes. One day.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh, I still can't figure it out.
And leave there for the mids, everyone, if you're watching. No. And then, okay, this Okay. Again, I'm doing this because this is also a comedy podcast. So calm down, Archie Manning freaks that freak out on Twitter. Oh, you know what? No, I won't do that one. I want to do this. No, I'll save it because I don't want like the hate on Twitter. Okay. You're at a concert. You have 2 tickets. A friend who loves the band, but is so annoying to hang out with. Do you take them, or do you take the friend that is so fun to hang out with, but doesn't care about the band at all?
That just goes to show how nice of a person you are, because it's not even close, and it's the fucking fun friend.
Okay. See. Okay.
Yeah, it's the fun friend. I mean, why are you even
That's
that
my
kind?
dilemma.
Yeah, but there
You're
would
like,
be a
I'll
situation
hang out
though.
with somebody I hate because they enjoy something. Fuck
No, not hate,
that.
but they're just not as cool. Like the one friend that's like there, but then they're like, then they leave you because they're like, ah, and they're like talking to someone, and then you're like, oh, where am I? Okay. Again, I don't mind going to a concert by myself. I've done it.
I don't know. Now they sound a lot cooler.
Louis told me to do Oasis. He's like, yeah, I like that. Okay. Yes. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Ryan.
So, all right, I have one more.
Ryan really loves Oasis, but not a cool hang. Oh man. Okay, joking. All cool hang.
This is all right.
This is
Yeah,
a
this is
Ryan.
it's another. It's a specific one, but it's kind of, people have likely experienced this before. It's the decision of whether or not, when we'll say there's traffic and you have to decide whether or not you're letting someone merge in, right?
Oh.
I mean,
you like
usually, right? But if you're leaving a Bills game, there is a 0% chance of letting anyone merge, because if you're not aggressive trying to get out of the stadium, you're going to be stuck in there for hours. So it's definitely situation based, but most times I'm like, yeah, go ahead. But other times I'm like, no, forget it. You're gonna have to wait. So.
And then just can we just make sure when we clip this, that right underneath that says Ryan never lets anyone merge? Because I feel like you just explained that to only promote the fact that you never let anyone merge.
No, there might be some times that I let people come in. It's
see, again, too nice. I'm a karma person. I'm like, I'd rather be happy on the road and let because I believe in traffic karma, that I'd rather have someone get in and then give me the thank you. If they don't give me the thank you thing, they're dead to me.
Yes, and the move there, give them the thumbs down instead of the finger. Oh, such a good move.
Oh,
yes. Don't do the finger. The finger is so overplayed.
The finger is
thumbs
a
down.
move.
I mean, hurts you to your soul. It's really, it's a reflection on your character. The finger, anyone can give you the finger. If you give someone a thumbs down, you're like, I'm disapproving of you. You did. It's so much more powerful.
Wow. That's hard.
You guys are two really nice people. You're like, Ellie's like, oh, should I bring my friend I hate? And Brian's like, I give people thumbs down.
Louis like, incurable STD, or do I tell them they're pregnant?
I'm like, if you guys ever have the chance at a threesome. No. Okay. I will give you this last one, and this last one is a bit. I will 100% admit that I've used it on stage before, but I've used it on stage because it does come from a real issue I have. All right. So like, have you ever you left for work in the morning and been like, tonight I'm gonna make tacos, and you take the ground beef out of the freezer and you put it in the fridge, and you go to work, and then you come home, and then just life happens, and taco night doesn't happen, and like 3 days later you go back in the fridge, and then you find that ground beef, and you got to decide whether or not you should eat it. Like you smell it, you're like, it's like browning a little bit, you're like, I don't know I wonder how it's gonna taste. It doesn't smell that bad. That's the same exact thought process I go through anytime a girl asks me to go down on her. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You cannot tell me any different. It's the same thing. Same troubles. And with that, and your thumbs down and your nice friend that
yeah. As a vegan, I don't have it, but
and as someone that does not eat expired beef over here,
man, sounds
this
like
is why you're choosing this. Time out. We'll get into this real quick, everyone. Louis has earlier said he has to choose between two people usually chooses the wrong one. And then Lane discusses contemplating the spoiled beef. So
where's you got the roast beef over there?
Oh yeah, it's downstairs.
Sorry, we gotta.
But I do have some cheese today.
There we go.
Roasting is downstairs. That was very, very fun, you guys. The one that I was debating on, which do you ever play like those like video games on your phone, and there's like this really weird video game where it's like always a woman that's cold and she's a child and it's sad, and they're like, you have to get the right pieces, otherwise she does something stupid. No. Okay, I'll screenshot it and you'll be like, okay, and I'll send it to you. But it's a stupid game. I wish people, I'm sure someone who's listening or watching understands what I'm talking about. But it's like, do I fix the fireplace or do I fix the door that's open? And it's like a winter storm and she fixed the fireplace and the open door. Okay, I'm going to record this and we'll tag it. It's insane. That was the one that didn't make the list, and I'm glad I didn't say it. We can edit this later. And then and then my thing is, do you go to a party that you really want to go to, even though you don't like someone who's there? Like, is it better to stay home and not be annoyed, or do you go to the party annoyed?
I don't know if I have because I isn't there like two different moods for that, right? Like, because there are times I want to be spiteful, where like if you're feeling that glow up, right? Like if it's that day and you're feeling your hair's done, nails done, everything did, and you're like, I want to go there and show off myself. But there's that day, like I'm miserable, I'm depressed. If I see that person, I'm going to punch them in their face. Yeah. So I will do that. So, I think that could be, I think that's a true dilemma. I like that. That's a good one. I had sometimes deciding what liquor to drink, at this age. I'm just saying, like, you got to, it's not like 20 years ago where you could just drink the jungle juice or switch up booze. Like, at 8 o'clock, you got to be drinking what you're drinking at 4 a.m. where it's not going to be pretty. Listen to me, like I'm going to be drinking for 8 hours. I was just like, but you know what I mean? You got to start at the same place you end most night. A cereal aisle is always a really tough dilemma for me. I love all cereals, and that's always a really tough place for me to be. And we talk too much about food, so I didn't use this one, but I have a lot of trouble of like when to eat during the day. There's always that dilemma of like, shit, it's too late now to eat lunch, but then I'd have to eat an early dinner, or if I eat lunch now, I'm not gonna be hungry till midnight. There's always that. Yeah. Ryan, you got anything that you missed?
I think that too much thought. Just kind of like, just eat when I'm hungry, right? Or you plan it out, like you try to avoid eating at
Ryan.
I'm actually surprised that you don't. I mean, because I will say it's a little bit more of a dad thing now, because I have to plan my meals around my child and, stuff like that. So, I'm sorry you're selfish. I'm sorry you're selfish and you just throw peanuts at your children at night, but I try to eat dinner with my daughter. So.
The only other honorable mention I had was the age-old trolley question. Sacrifice one person to save, many, right? Would you pull the lever, right? There's multiple people, 2 tracks. I mean, it's not. That's why I didn't pick it. There were no. I mean, what are you going to say about that? There's really no good outcome.
Well, wait, and on a good note, right? I wish I had that. I wish I still had that bouncing, laughing emoji to come through the stage.
Can you just time out? Can you bring on Brian Mura for a second. I wanted to hear, what he has to say.
Brian, you're on.
Hey, come on, Brian, get on in. Now, what does Brian have to say?
I'm just gonna get a pair of those glasses and just like have them ready off and just like put them on so I can.
You just Bobby Valentine it next week, and you're Brian Mura.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Good luck on week 15. Again, we are 60 days away from the Super Bowl, so that just means it's getting down to the wire. A lot to talk about. I know we do tweet a lot of fun takes, and also Ryan and Louie love to give advice on sports, and I will just tell you whatever I want to. All right. So, everyone, thank you again. Thank you for listening to Analytics for the Nerds. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Good luck this week.